Okay, today we're dealing with the order Rodentia. I've already discussed in lecture and in lab to a certain extent, but these are shorter videos covering this very speciose order. Actually, the most speciose of all the mammalian orders. And in lecture, I talked about 5 suborders of rodents, and in lab here we'll be dealing with 4 of them. I'll mention the other one too when I come to it. The systematics of rodents today is still not fully worked out because it's such a large and complex group of mammals. But traditionally, they were divided into 3 or 4 suborders based on the structure of the jaw muscles, primarily the masseter muscles, but also the temporalis to a certain extent, and whether the jaw musculature was originated on the zygomatic arch or zygomatic plate and onto the rostrum, and also with regard to whether there were cyurognathae or hystricognathai. That's with regard to the structure of the lower jaw and the relationship between the angular process of the lower jaw and the plane of the alveolus of the lower incisors. Now, I refer you to your lab manual and textbook on this. I also refer you to the pages of slides that I put on Blackboard, especially pages 5 and 6 of those slides there with regard to the protrogomorph condition, the cyuromorph, the myomorph, and the hystricomorph conditions. So, subsequently, of course, molecular genetics changed this picture somewhat, as it is for so many groups of organisms, and we're dealing with 5 suborders. And the first suborder we deal with is the Castorimorpha, the suborder Castorimorpha, which are the beavers, the gophers, and the kangaroo rats. These are all, mostly New World species, at least with regard to the Geomyidae and the Heteromyidae. But beavers are found in Eurasia and in North America. And so we're dealing with the beavers first, the first family, the family Castoridae, and it's monotypic. Its species is Castor canadensis. So the North American beaver, you can call it the Canadian beaver if you wish, but it's far more extensive than just Canada. And the skulls are very distinctive. And here we see a skull of a large beaver. And there's a few things to note about the beaver. Now, for most of these groups, we need to be aware of the infraorbital condition from the very beginning. And Castorimorpha have a cyuromorph-like infraorbital foramen. So you can see here it is small and slit-like, and it's pretty much on the side of the rostrum. Okay, so it's pointed out with the pencil here. So here you can see it. This is the infraorbital foramen on the. So you cannot really confuse this with a porcupine skull or some of the others that I will show you. Another distinctive feature with beavers is this depression in the basi-occipital, a very pronounced depression here. Just anterior to the foramen magnum. See the occipital condyles here, and here's this depression. And the teeth of this flat occlusal surfaces, because these are obviously herbivores, and that is how they survive. So the large, flat, heavy zygomatic arch, and with the cyuromorph condition with regard to the muscle insertions. And here, if you look down on it, you can see that the angular process of the lower jaw is not inflected. It's in line with the alveolus of these lower incisors, which come out here like this. So also notice in the Castorimorpha condition, the coronoid process, this is the coronoid process, is fairly large. So the temporalis muscles are fairly large in this species. So that is, that's the North American beaver. Very distinctive skulls and small slit-like infraorbital foramen on the side of the rostrum. Okay, the next family that we're going to look at is the Geomyidae, the pocket gophers. So let me adjust the camera here. So pocket gophers are very distinctive by themselves. Small fusiform bodies, well-developed claws on the forefeet, but not as well developed as you saw in the moles, the broad-footed mole. But those are digging. Those claws and toes on the forefeet are used for digging, and the hind feet then will be used for kicking back the dirt as they dig. They also have short tails. So this is your typical botte pocket gopher. Now again, they have a fairly squat skull, and you'll see that the infraorbital foramen is compressed here. It's that opening on the side of the rostrum. So it's actually in these next two families, this one and the next one, it's called the infraorbital canal. This is what the bottom of the skull looks like. I'll take some photos of these as well so you get a better look. So, and here's the lower jaw. Now, they do have these large extensions of the angular process. And you'll see that and notice how the teeth are splayed as well, because the mandibular symphysis is not fused in rodents, so they have control over each jaw independently. So that's the Geomyidae. Now we're going to take a look at the Heteromyidae, the kangaroo rats and pocket mice. It's not just kangaroo rats; they're also pocket mice are covered here as well. And like the family Geomyidae, this group of animals, of mammals, has an infraorbital canal that is compressed on the side of the rostrum. And here you can see it in this skull. You can see right through the rostrum, in fact. See that white aperture there? So that's the infraorbital canal and they have this Castorimorphous condition with a pronounced zygomatic plate for the origin of master muscles which insert on the lower jaw. The other very distinctive thing about kangaroo rats are the greatly inflated bullae. So you can see that here on this kangaroo rat skull. And you'll see that on all of them. And even there's a creature called the kangaroo mouse that has it as well. So this is the family, the Heteromyidae. And we've got 3 species on display. It'd be hard for you to tell them apart without examining them in your hands, especially the giant kangaroo rat, Dipodomys ingens. And then you've got the Hermann's kangaroo rat, and lastly, that's Dipodomys hermanni, and the last one is Dipodomys nitrotoides, the Samokin kangaroo rat, of which there are 3 subspecies and 2 are listed as endangered. Notice the very long tail on all of them, and the very large hind feet and very small front feet. Heteromyidae and Geomyidae form a monophyletic group, a clade, although there's still some debate over relationships between gophers and kangaroo rats. And they're distinctive by comparison with all other mammals in that they have external fur-lined cheek pouches, and they can stuff seeds and other types of food in there that they can transport to their burrows or bury them in surface caches in the case of kangaroo rats and probably pocket mice too. So that's why actually pocket gophers are called pocket gophers, because of those pouches. So as well as the kangaroo rats in the family Heteromyidae, we have pocket mice, and they have a more typical mouse-like body, but the fur is a bit different on them, and also the skulls are different because these have a Castorimorphous skull structure with a very small infraorbital foramen, and it doesn't play much role with regard to the master musculature. And the Chaetodipus californicus here, the California pocket mouse, is the largest one that we have to contend with, and you can see these are also called the spiny pocket mice, and the fur on the rump and on the rear here is a bit bristly. They're not like porcupine quills or anything like that, but they're still somewhat spiny. These are not bipedal like the kangaroo rats, but the kangaroo rats are bipedal, and they have what's called saltatorial movement, jumping movement. These are more quadrupedal jumpers, or quadrupedal bounders, as it says in your lab manual. And there are two other species of pocket mice in the valley here. There's the Samokian pocket mouse, Perignathus inornatus, a very cute little tiny pocket mouse with yellow, orangish, or light brown fur. And I've trapped these in the past, and these are amazing little animals. And also the least pocket mouse, or the little pocket mouse, Perignathus longimembris. And these guys are absolutely tiny, some of the smallest mammals in the world. And one subspecies, the Pacific pocket mouse in Southern California, is listed as endangered. So those are the three families in the of the Castorimorph rodents. The beaver in the family Castoridae, the pocket gopher in the family Geomyidae, pocket gophers, and remember that they are in a monophyletic group. The pocket gophers are in a monophyletic group with the kangaroo rats and the pocket mice in the family Heteromyidae. If you look in the lab manual, it actually says some research suggests that the pocket gophers should be placed within the Heteromyidae. But if that's the case, Geomyidae would be the family name since it's older. Those are some of the rules of taxonomy. So things to remember are the external cheek pouches, fur-lined cheek pouches, the very inflated bullae of the kangaroo rats. There you can see them, each about the size of the cranium. And then in the pocket mice, which are also have external fur-lined cheek pouches. But these are not saltatorial, bipedal saltatorial rodents. They're quadrupedal, and but they still can jump considerably. So that's all I have for the Castorimorph. Now I'm going to move on to the Sauromorph. Sauromorph rodents, the suborder Sauromorpha. And but bear in mind, the group that we've just looked at also have the Sauromorph musculature and jaw structure.